What dying on every D R star G feels like.
Incident. Shrooms are a natural psychedelic that cause hallucinations. About 30 minutes after eating them, colors get brighter, patterns start crawling on the walls, time stretches like taffy, and your sense of self begins to melt. Your brain is rushed into a state of euphoria, leaving you questioning what's real and what's not. But what happens when you take too much? On a calm Saturday afternoon, a 21-year-old Hispanic man would return home from work and consume an unspecified quantity of shrooms. Shortly after consumption, he started experiencing a bad trip and begun acting erratically upon arriving to his house. His stepfather and brother would step in and restrain him to try to calm him down, but he'd break free of their grasp and also break a glass vase in the process. In his frenzied state, he'd then begin to rub himself against the glass shards on the floor and severely injure his arms and legs.
Oh my god.
His brother and stepfather would successfully intervene to stop him from injuring himself any further with the glass shards, and he'd be sat down at a desk. But shockingly enough, in a horrific act, he'd take a number 2 pencil that was laying on the desk, stand it upright, and repeatedly smash his head on the sharpened pencil. When he raised his head, he'd reveal that he jabbed the pencil repeatedly into both of his eye sockets.
Okay, tell me one thing. Them 2 people that are with him, what are you lot doing? Are you lot just watching him do all this? What?
He would stand up again to do something else, but quickly vomited on himself, leaving his family in a state of total panic. Emergency service
Oh, so they panicked after he puked, not whilst he was stabbing himself with the pencil in his eye.
were called, where they tried desperately to save the young man's life, but unfortunately, they would only get so far. Shrooms are one of the least toxic substances in the world. You'd need to eat dozens or even hundreds of grams to fatally overdose. But that doesn't mean people can't die from it. Most fatalities come from behavioral toxicity, panicking, jumping out windows, walking into traffic, or doing something fatal during a full-blown psychotic break. You won't pass away from the drug itself. You'll pass away from what it does to your mind.
Mad,
Gator
bro.
Incident. Now let's talk about meth. When it hits, you feel invincible. This substance cranks up your sympathetic nervous system and causes an explosive release of dopamine in your body. Your heart starts racing, you become laser focused, and you'll be filled with unstoppable energy. The high can last 8 to 16 hours. No sleep, no food, just intense stimulation. And when you take too much, your body turns into an absolute war zone. On May 26th in Orlando, Florida, concerned bystanders would phone a call to police officers to let them know that there was a man on a racetrack shaking violently, asking to see his son. When police arrived, he was nowhere to be found, until suddenly he was located in a lake
Oh
full
my
of
god.
alligators.
Oh my
Officers
god.
would try to throw the man a life vest, but he'd refuse it and would start getting attacked by the alligators in the water. And to officers' surprise, like it was a scene straight out of a horror movie, the man actually resurfaced out of the lake, covered in severe injuries and carrying gardening shears. He would charge at the officers in their car, and in response, they would tase him repeatedly, but it would have absolutely no effect. It was only when the man jumped into the passenger seat of the police cruiser and tried reaching for a rifle in the vehicle that officers finally used lethal force. Meth hijacks your brain's reward system and sends your body into overdrive. It burns out your dopamine center and disrupts your central nervous system so much
Wow.
that your body both loses touch with reality and can no longer regulate its
I would
temperature.
never try any of these.
Your
Never.
organs can literally cook from the inside out and cause you to collapse. You can have a heart attack, or you could simply just go on a rampage and meet an early demise like this man. The 108th incident. It is
Ooh.
by far one of the most commonly
I've
used
heard about this
substances
one.
in the United States. Within minutes of smoking, you're relaxed, music sounds better, jokes are funnier, and you get really, really hungry. You might feel euphoric, or anxious, or both. It depends on the strain, your mood, and your brain chemistry. So what happens when you smoke too much of it?
Okay, this part is important here because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that do this. They smoke this. I don't know why. What's the point? There's no point. But
Well,
yeah, a lot of
here's the
people do.
truth. You can't die from THC toxicity alone. There's no known lethal dose in humans. You'd have to smoke thousands of joints in a short time to even come close. But that doesn't mean weed is harmless. In the spring of 2018 in California, a woman who had just befriended a man at a dog park she frequently visited would follow him home to his apartment for a quick spark-up session, which, mind you, is totally legal in the state of California. After the two finished lighting up grass through a bong, the woman would unexpectedly shoot up from her seat straight to the kitchen and grab 3 knives.
No.
Hey, could you come back with some chips? And maybe some ice cream.
No.
And maybe some chicken Oh, are you trying to chop up some salsa? I love salsa.
Jim, I'm not making salsa.
In just the blink of an eye, she would stab the man repeatedly non-stop 108 times.
Why?
His body would be covered in marks from head to toe, and his face would nearly be entirely carved out. Officers that arrived at the scene would find that she had also stabbed her dog, and shockingly enough, had stabbed herself 40 times, and was still in the process of doing it. They would quickly intervene and try to physically stop her, but it wasn't enough. Officers would tase her 4 times to try to break her psychotic frenzy, but it would be to no avail. In order to get her to stop, one police officer had to swing a baton at her arm 9 times to break it, and finally she would release her grip from the knife. The man unfortunately didn't make it, but surprisingly, the woman did. And even more shockingly, she faced 0 prison time for her actions because it was proven in court that she experienced what is commonly known as...
No, that's taking the piss. That's taking the piss. How? After stabbing lover 108 times, it's appalling how now his dad is speaking out. Woman who avoided prison. Why did I just read all that? The backwards, I don't know. But that's mad. How do you get away from basically killing someone and stabbing someone 108 times? Nah, that's taking the piss, bro.
Cannabis-induced psychosis.
No.
The woman was very inexperienced when it came to smoking weed, and that potentially played a huge role in why she experienced this rare phenomenon. She was placed on probation for 2 years and was required to do 100 hours of community service.
Wow.
The man's family, especially his father, were extremely upset when they heard about this. Understandably so.
It should never have happened. She should have never have been allowed to walk free. She should have done some time.
True.
We had a jury that convicted her,
The
unanimous conviction, in less than 4 hours, and the judge went completely against all 3 of those entities and just said, "You're free to go."
No.
Stove.
That's taking the piss.
really didn't like the case on equity that I found. So instead, we'll go over this situation where a 26-year-old martial arts fighter and his sparring partner consumed an unnatural amount of shrooms while in their apartment. Initially, everything was fine, until they became
Why do people
convinced
do
that
this?
the world was coming to an end,
Why?
and that the two were fighting a battle of life and death between God and the devil. The two would begin their legendary battle, and finally when the struggle finished, their friend would walk into their apartment room only to find the martial arts fighter standing butt naked in the kitchen cooking his friend's heart and remains in a stove.
Oh my god.
The victim would be found laying on the couch, missing his face, tongue, and heart.
What?
And sadly, the autopsy revealed that he was alive when his chest was ripped open and his heart was taken out. The martial arts fighter wouldn't be as lucky as the woman in our last case. He'd be formally charged and sentenced to 47 years in state prison for what he did to his friend. Now, this probably makes the US legal system come off as a little hypocritical, considering that in the other case, the woman was allowed to blame psychosis for her actions and be cleared of any severe wrongdoing. Whereas in this case, the fighter's state of influence was ignored and he was directly sentenced. But honestly, that's your opinion to make. When it comes to overdosing on psilocybin, you'll find that it rarely ever ends you through toxicity alone. You'll need to eat an absurd amount.
Bro, that's taking the piss. I still can't go over the fact that that woman got away. Yeah, she got away. Oh, I don't even know what about now. What was she? What was I going to say now? My head's going blank. I can't believe she got away, basically, after stabbing her friend 108 times. Mad, bro. Imagine that. And this guy, he just took his friend's heart out.